Coming up at 4:30, Governor Stitt announced his newest Secretary of Education. Who is it, and what other changes could be coming to his cabinet? Plus, one of the biggest names in e-cigarettes has to pay a $500 million settlement because of teen addiction. We have the latest on the story. And the weather outside is cleared up just in time for the first Edmond summer event going on this weekend. The details and more on this edition of UCentral News.
Good evening, I'm Miracle Garrett.
And I'm Brady Gray. Welcome to this edition of UCentral News.
Governor Kevin Stitt announced changes to his cabinet, including the selection of Dr. Catherine Curry as Secretary of Education.
Yeah, Dr. Curry is an assistant professor at Oklahoma State University and will be replacing former Secretary of Education Ryan Walters, who was elected as the state superintendent back in November.
Stitt also announced that broader changes are to come to his executive cabinet, creating the Secretary of Operations and Government Efficiency position, the Secretary of Workforce Development position, and eliminating the Secretary of Science and Innovation. We will keep you updated as we learn more.
And in national news, Tennessee's Republican governor is calling for tougher gun laws. It comes 2 weeks after 6 people were killed by a shooter at Covenant School in Nashville.
Governor Bill Lee says he wants the legislature to restrict firearm purchases, and he wants the bill passed during the legislative session, which ends in just a few weeks. Lee puts the responsibility on lawmakers to draw up a bill and indicated he wants it to target dangerous people.
It is possible and it is important that we find a way to remove individuals who are a threat to themselves or to our society, to remove them from access to weapons. I'm asking the legislature to bring forth thoughtful, practical measures to do that, to strengthen our laws to separate those dangerous people from firearms, while at the same time preserving the constitutional rights of the people of this state.
Lee also announced a new executive order that requires criminal activity to be reported to the state within 72 hours.
It also requires state officials to review the current process for purchasing firearms and to look for holes where information is not shared efficiently.
After the Nashville school shooting and the false alarm at the University of Oklahoma, many UCO students wonder what campus police has planned in case of emergency like an active shooter. UCentral's Mark Lowe spoke with campus police, and here's what they had to say.
Mass shooting incidents seem to be on the rise again across America. There have been at least 147 mass shootings in the United States just this year alone. Louisville recently was put on the list after a mass shooting at a bank. Active shooter situations can happen anywhere at any time, but one of the more chilling locations for them to occur at is at a school. The University of Oklahoma recently went through what was initially called as an active shooter situation, which has now been identified as a swatting incident. The University of Central Oklahoma Police Captain Joe Harmon advises everyone to be aware of what is happening around them.
Stay more vigilant. If you see something, even if it's online, somebody's mentioning something, report it to us. We don't mind at all checking those out. And if it turns out to be nothing, great, we'll go on. But if it's something you may have prevented ahead of time.
In the case of the OU swatting call, students were advised to shelter in place. What can we do to help secure our location from potential intruders in a shelter-in-place scenario?
It's a dorm. You could put your desk over in front of the door, something really heavy. But I would leave it to where you could still have something to pass over the door, because if we start doing room checks and somebody's not sure if it's an officer or not, we can slide an ID under there. We can slide, information, hey, this is who we are.
If you're wondering about steps you can take to prepare for a scenario such as an active shooter, be sure to check out the Red Safety Books, which can be found almost anywhere on campus. In them are steps to take for every situation, from fires to tornadoes and even to active shooters. Reporting from Edmond, Oklahoma, Mark Lowe, UCentral News.
Students and faculty who see suspicious activity are asked to call campus police at the number located on the bottom of your screen.
And in downtown Edmond this weekend, a summer favorite returns. UCentral's Perla Tovar has the information.
Hello everyone. As you guys can see behind me, there's not much going on, but this Saturday the area will be filled with a ton of local people from the community for our annual outdoor farmers market. The farmers market is a wonderful shopping destination for the community to support local vendors, gardeners, artists, and many more people that will be selling their products. The farmers market will take place every Saturday throughout October 28th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So this Saturday, if you guys are free, grab your friends and come enjoy the wonderful, nice weather as we'll be celebrating here in downtown Edmond. I'm Perla Tovar in Edmond. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Perla. The farmers market is located off 1st and Broadway in downtown Edmond.
And also happening here in Edmond, the city has officially announced a new director of engineering. Steve Lawrence has served the city of Edmond for 23 years and most recently served as the new interim engineering director since December. He will be in charge of the city's engineering department, responsible for everything as far as city construction to stormwater management. For more information about Lawrence and his department, please visit the website at edmondok.gov.
And the weather outside getting just about perfect just in time for the farmers market this weekend, Miracle. Let's kick it to Destiny Pittman with our first look at weather.
Good evening, Broncos. I am currently outside of the College of Business on campus. It is a nice, warm spring day outside. If I look up in the sky, I can see that there are no clouds. The sun is shining nice and bright, and the sky is very blue. Outside, it is a little bit windy. If you look closely behind me, you can see this tree branches swaying a little bit with the wind. And then every few seconds, there are those bigger, stronger gusts of winds that are coming by. But besides that, it is a pretty nice day. On campus today, I mainly saw people wearing short sleeves and short sleeve shirts just because it is a nice, warm day. And it's about 78 degrees outside, and that's a lot warmer than what it typically is for this point of the year. Usually we're in the lower 70s, but currently this week we've seen a lot of higher 70s and even some 80s. That is all I have for now. Back to you guys, the desk.
Thank you, Destiny. And breaking news just being handed to me during her look. Breaking news out of Tennessee, the Representative Dustin Pearson, one of the two removed from the Tennessee House, has been reinstated in the Tennessee House here recently. This is in the wake of all of the gun violence as well. Both of them have been reinstated. He was the second one reinstated. The first one happened earlier this week.
And e-cigarette maker Juul Labs has agreed to pay almost $500 million to 6 states and Washington, D.C. The $462 million settlement will be made over 8 years. The settlement will also force retailers to keep Juul's products behind counters and verify the age of all purchasers. Juul must also stop using people under 35 years old in its marketing materials. The lawsuit accused Juul of promoting its products to high school students, and the company says the settlement brings its near total resolution of its legal challenges. Juul has settled more than 5,000 cases so far. New York's Attorney General spoke out against Juul. Here's what she had to say.
Juul's lies led to a nationwide public health crisis and put addictive products in the hands of minors who thought they were doing something harmless. E-cigarette use amongst middle and high school students more than doubled after Juul was first introduced in 2015.
Students interested in quitting smoking or vaping can get free help from the state of Oklahoma by calling 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
And the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is looking to the future of COVID-19 as the country enters a new phase in the pandemic. A senior administration official says DHS is launching a $5 billion investment to help develop new types of vaccines and treatments. It's called Project NextGen. The government is looking to get ahead of the rapidly evolving coronavirus. Researchers hope the next generation of vaccines can shut down the infection before it ever gets the chance to make anyone sick. This comes as the public health emergency for COVID-19 is set to end on May 11th.
Less Americans are getting pregnant. According to CDC data, the U.S. pregnancy rate fell over the past decade. In 2019, 5.5 million women were pregnant, down from just over 6 million in 2010. During that time frame, unattended pregnancy fell 15% and abortions became less common. In 2019, 13% of pregnancies resulted in an abortion compared with 16% in 2010. But pregnancy loss became more common. About 20% of pregnancies in 2019 resulted in miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, stillbirth, or fetal death.
And this week's temperature has been warming up. We will see how perfect the weather is for this weekend, though, in our full block of weather. Stay tuned.
Raised to believe in the power of possibility, to always move forward but never forget where I came from, to value hard work, ingenuity, and hospitality. On one hand, my people are rough and rugged. On the other, refined and elegant. They taught me how to love beautiful things and cherish my past, to seek out adventure, eat well, and to have a good time. So I keep their traditions alive every place I go. They call me Oklahoma City, but you can call me the modern frontier.
UCentral News as a whole, you got to be in those different areas, like being on camera, being off camera, being in the control room. And so I feel like that is what prepared me most about being in the workplace.
UCentral and the Mass Comm department has provided me all the tools and the fundamentals that are needed in order to thrive well and thrive fast at my job.
Maybe it's time to hit the road and visit a place where stories unfold. This is the land of the ultimate road trip, with sights old and new on Route 66. There's fun to be had, so much to do, and a few new surprises before you get through. Oklahoma has the most miles to share of Route 66. It's really quite rare. TravelOK.com will show you the way. Come see for yourself this iconic highway.
Good evening, Broncos. It is a very nice warm day here in Oklahoma City. It's pretty warm out. It's about 78 degrees. So let's just take a look around the state to see what the current conditions are statewide. So up in Guyman, it is 85 degrees out there. So they are definitely feeling that nice, warm spring weather. If you look on this map, you can see a lot of 70s, 80s. So a lot of that nicer, warmer spring weather. And we're also seeing a lot of like higher 70s too. So then down in Woodward, it's about 81 degrees currently, and as we move down to Clinton, it is about 76, and then Altus is 78 currently. And then as we move over down in the Lawton area, it's 77, and then Ardmore and McAllister are both 75. And then over in Idabel, it is also 77. And then the Oklahoma City area is about 70, it's about 75 to like 78 here in the Oklahoma City and Edmond area. And then up in Enid, it is 79, as well as in Ponca City. And then Tulsa and Miami, Oklahoma are both 77 degrees. So we're just going to move on into our 7-day forecast. So moving on, as we can see a lot of sun and shininess and then a few thunderstorms. So we'll start with today. So today and tomorrow are going to be very similar weather-wise. The high for today was 78, and then the high for tomorrow is also 78, and we're supposed to see a lot of sun out, so it's going to be a nice day. And then as we move on to Friday, it's going to be very warm. It's going to be about 81 degrees Friday, but there is going to be some thunderstorms. So there is a 20% chance of those thunderstorms coming in. They're going to come in later in the evening, but so definitely look out for those. And then as we move on to this weekend for Saturday and Sunday, it is going to be perfect days to be outside, to be out and about, maybe go to some picnics, go to some farmer markets, because on Saturday it's going to be about 70 degrees for the high, and then Sunday is going to be 74. And then we're also going to be starting next week off on a very warm note, because Monday is going to be about 82 degrees. So we're seeing another nice warm week ahead of us. And then Tuesday is very similar to how this Friday is going to be. It's going to be warm, but there is going to be that 20% chance of those thunderstorms. So I just came in from outside and it was very nice and warm out. Have either of you guys at the desk had a chance to be out today and feel that nice warm spring weather?
No, for sure. The weather feels great outside. I'm super excited looking at those temperatures for next week. The rain looks a little dreary. How do you feel about it, Brady?
I'm excited. And Destiny, for the folks at home that are wanting to go to the farmer's market, that Friday night weather, it shouldn't affect too much with Saturday, should it?
No, it definitely shouldn't. The ground should be dry by then, and it's not supposed to rain on Saturday, so they should be perfectly fine for that.
Thank you very much, Destiny. We appreciate you as always. Coming up on social media, what is Twitter CEO Elon Musk saying about the future of the company?
And Jeremy Renner makes his debut for his new show. What does he have to say on his recovery from his accident? UCentral's Emma Birch has this and more right after the break.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
Welcome back, Broncos. I'm Emma Birch, and here's your social media update. Twitter CEO Elon Musk told BBC in a rare interview Tuesday he's laid off more than 6,000 people at the company since taking over. Musk was quoted as saying Twitter now has only 1,500 employees. He said that's down from under 8,000 at his time of the investment. The reduction equals to roughly 80% of Twitter staff. Musk said a drastic action was needed when he came on board. He claimed the company was facing a $300 billion negative cash flow situation. The billionaire CEO estimated that gave Twitter only 4 months to live. Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion last October. The National Public Radio, better known as NPR, will no longer be active on Twitter. NPR announced the move Wednesday and said that it's the first major news organization to go silent on a social media platform. Last week, Twitter labeled the radio broadcast as state-affiliated media that's usually placed on foreign propaganda outlets such as those from Russia or China. Then, over the weekend, Twitter revised NPR's label to government-funded media. According to NPR, it receives less than 1% of its $300 million annual budget, the federally funded Corporation for Public Broadcasting. NPR says Twitter's label undermines its credibility. In a final series of tweets, NPR noted other places people can find its work besides Twitter, including their app, newsletters, and other social media platforms. And Twitter took notice about their new announcement from the Warner Brothers, with HBO Max trending to number 5. HBO Max will now just be Max. Max will have tiers of streaming options. Max Ultimate will be the highest priced options for viewers that will have 4K content from shows and movies like The Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and The Lord of Rings, and start a new series based off the horror movie The Conjuring. The streaming service will also feature 40 new shows and TV show seasons released every month. Max will be launched on May 23rd. Actor Jeremy Renner walked down the blue carpet in Los Angeles Tuesday for the premiere of his new show, Renovations. It comes just 3 months after Renner was gravely injured in a snowplow accident on New Year's Day at his home in Nevada. Here's what Renner had to say about his journey from recovery to the release of his new show.
I never thought I'd have like dreams as a 52-year-old man still. I feel like I've kind of did them. But wow, it's nice to have things still come true for yourself, right? It's like, you know, there's more wonderment still to be had. And I feel very grateful to be here to continue finding that wonderment.
Many feared the actor would never walk again, but he was able to attend the premiere with the help of a knee scooter. Renovations combines the actor's passion for helping others with his love for repurposing vehicles such as trucks and buses. The show debuts on Disney Plus today. And streaming services are releasing new shows to boost their subscriptions. Streaming giant Netflix has ordered an animated spin-off of the hit series Stranger Things. The upcoming animated series doesn't have a title yet. Brothers Matt and Ross Duffer, the creative minds behind Stranger Things, are the executive producing the new show. Netflix says the animated series will be in the vein of Saturday morning cartoons. And with the trend of documentaries, Hulu is coming out with a documentary about Freak Nick, the annual street party in Atlanta in the 1980s and 90s. Freak Nick, the wildest party never told, recounts the rise and fall of the event, which exploded out of a small HBCU picnic in 1983 and became a popular spring break destination for people all over the United States. Freak Nick put Atlanta on the map as a cultural center, but the lively street party was eventually discontinued, mainly due to huge parties and traffic issues brought to the city. Hip-hop icons Jermaine Dupri and Luther, or Uncle Luke Campbell, are among the executive producers. No word yet on the release of both shows. And if you've ever tried writing your own wedding vows, you know how important it is to get the words just right. Well, this bride decided to try a new source of inspiration for her vows. She used ChatGPT. Users can prompt the artificial intelligence chatbot to generate responses. Elise Wynn says she first did it as a joke, and the output was pretty cheesy. But she says the essence of what she wanted her vows to say was all there. Wynn says she made a few edits and then added some humor and personal touches. But she stood at the altar in February. A good portion of ChatGPT had suggested was included in her vows. Wynn says it helped alleviate a lot of her stress and that her husband was on board with it. Miracle, I am not even close to getting married yet or anything. I've seen people write their vows. I don't know if I would use a computer to tell me what to say to my future spouse. What would you do?
I mean, AI has gotten so great over the last few months. I can't even say the year, like the last few months, that I can't believe that it's pretty real. I'm sure the vows were very heartfelt. Like, AI technology is pretty crazy.
Absolutely. I just would never think somebody who's writing their vows to someone that they love would be generated off a computer. But I mean, if the IA robot did what it was supposed to do, I mean, I think it's a cool idea.
Listen, I was my sister's bridesmaid for her wedding, and anything that will make anybody less stressed than she was, do it.
Absolutely,
do the AI
that's a good point.
Do it. It is perfectly fine. Like, I'm telling you, whatever makes the day easier, I'm totally on board with.
Absolutely. Thanks, Miracle.
Yeah. And the UCO wrestling team was recognized by Edmond City Council, and the Oklahoma City Thunder prepare for their play-in matchup tonight. All that and much more up next. Stay tuned, Broncos.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back, Broncos. I'm Jaden Ford, and this is your Wednesday Sports Update. The Edmond City Council recognized the UCO wrestling team for their achievement in winning the NCAA Division II Wrestling Championship. Wrestler Sean Strick, UCO's first ever heavyweight national champion, and Dalton Abney helped lead the Broncos to their 18th team title. Merrill Darrell Davis and multiple other representatives spoke with players and coaches and staff yesterday afternoon. Congratulations on the national title. And moving on to baseball, the winning streak continues, and the Broncos are rolling. Central Oklahoma's baseball team traveled to Tahlequah and beat Northeastern State 8-4. With this win over the Riverhawks, UCO completes the season series 3-0, helping the Broncos improve to 27-11 on the season. This team is high-powered and has showed the ability to win on the road. If they can keep this up, the sky is the limit. Central Oklahoma returns home this weekend for a 3-game MIAA series versus Northwest Missouri, beginning Friday night at Wendell Simmons Field. And for football, it's back. And the UCO football team is hosting their annual spring game Friday, April 28th at Chad Richardson Stadium. Last season, the Broncos hired a new head coach in Adam Dorrell, who looks to change the culture and to get the Broncos back to the top of the MIAA. In addition to the traditional format, which includes position drills and scrimmages, entertainment is at the forefront of this spring game. UCO will bring a DJ to provide music for the night, with fan contests and giveaways taking place throughout the game. Make sure to get out there and support your Broncos. And UCO's own Taryn Ritz was named MIAA Hitter of the Week Monday after a big performance this past weekend. The sophomore from Edmond hit 1 home run and 6 RBIs, leading her team to another big victory. Central Oklahoma is currently ranked number 4 in the country in the latest national top 25. The Broncos are on the road this weekend to take on Northeastern State and Rogers State, and then they will return home the following weekend for a 2-game MIAA header against Nebraska Kearney and Fort Hays State, starting on April 21st at Gary Pickettson Stadium. And tonight marks the most significant game for the Oklahoma City Thunder in over 2 years. It will be the first postseason contest for the franchise since 2020. The Thunder are in New Orleans facing the Pelicans tonight, and they need a huge win to keep their impressive season alive. The two teams matched up this time 3 times. Two of these teams matched up this year, and they went 3-1 in the series. The Pelicans won all of those games by 4 points or less. If the Thunder win this game, they will head to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves on Friday in another elimination game in which the winner officially will take the 8th seed. However, the loser of that game will be done for the season. This game is scheduled tonight at 8:30 on ESPN. Go Thunder. And Brady, what do you think you got in this game, man? I think the Thunder are going to pull it out.
Of course, I'm leaning Thunder, but considering where the season was supposed to be, Jaden, it's kind of amazing that they've gotten this far. Who is it specifically, though, that you have your eye on tonight for both teams? I've got Trey Murphy for the Pelicans, maybe giving us some problems. J-Dub, as always, I want to see him do well for OKC.
Of course. Well, you know, like for me, I got Lou Dort on the schedule. He's going to have to put someone in the torture chamber. And without it, I think we'll get torched because Brandon Ingram averaged 30 points a game versus us. And tonight, his over-under is 30.5. He'll probably break that. But we're going to need a big game from a lot of our players on the bench to pull this one out, Brady.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully SGA does his all-star impression for us once again.
40 points or more, man.
Absolutely.
40 points or more.
Thank you again, Jaden, as always. Stay tuned. We got our last look at weather with Destiny Pittman. Don't go anywhere.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back, Broncos. I'm just going to give you our forecast for tonight. So tonight, the temperature is going to drop to about 54 degrees. That's still pretty warm, especially for this time of year. The winds are going to be blowing south at 11 to 15 miles per hour, and it is going to be a little bit humid. The humidity rate is going to be about 31% tonight. That is all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
The Tulsa Press Club announced that some of UCO's mass communication students are being recognized for their outstanding performances in journalism through the Great Plains Journalism Awards. UCentral's Kelly Merka, Ben Anderson, and Trey Guzman are finalists for Best Newscast for the Election 2020 show.
And Tuesday and Thursday, anchor Jocelyn Schifferdecker is also considered a finalist for Best Journalist. Winners will be announced May 5th during the awards ceremony at 11:30 a.m. inside Tulsa's Mayo Hotel. Congratulations to all our colleagues, Miracle. We got enough time. I think we can get on that awards list by next year, you think?
I'm sure we can.
We have the crew for it, especially behind the scenes, but that'll be it for this edition of UCentral News. I'm Brady Gray.
And I'm Miracle Garrett. You guys have a great night. We'll catch you tomorrow.